Hey there guys, welcome back to In My Shed. I'm BC. I've been farting about trying to do a bit of steel fab this week, making a stand for the little surface grinder, as well as cleaning up the shed. It's looking a hell of a lot better actually. I've got a bit of floor space back. And I had a couple of people say to me, well, if you're building a stand, show us, because they might in the future want to build a stand themselves. It's only going to be very simple and using reasonably light gauge material, because the whole grinder weighs 260 kilos including the chuck, so it's not that heavy. But I'll give you a look at the machines I've used so far, what I've done in marking out, and tomorrow I'll get around to using the radial drill to drill some holes. Okay, I'll bring you in with a bit of a zoom soon. Okay, I'm making the legs out of a bit of 200 by 68 or 70 mil C-channel, fairly light wool, only about 1.6, and I'm using that because it's here and it's free. The previous owner left a couple of links of it. I'm using the power hacksaw because it cuts fairly straight, but the noise coming off this thin crap is bloody horrendous. I've had to put my palm on the material not being cut, the parent bit I suppose you'd call it, to try and keep the sound down. It's screeching really loud, and the last couple of millimetres I've had to cut with the hacksaw. Excuse me, cut with the hacksaw, but so far it's come out quite good. There's some that I prepared earlier, 4 in total, and I just put them up on that sawhorse with a clamp over the top and deburr them with a file. I'm a pretty old-fashioned guy. I only found out now that the vise, when I set it up on the bench, I didn't allow any overhang, so it's difficult to do long things like this in the vise, but I'll eventually get a bit more bench space and I'll set something else up. That'll be the phone, Reg. I'll bring you back soon. G'day, we're back again on the job. I was on the Hare & Forbes website a couple of days ago and I came across an operator's manual for the little flick grinder, and part of it had a sketch of the top of the sheet metal stand that they use, and this piece of plate underneath here is 6mm plate, and the legs are a fair bit heavier than the sheet they use in the stand, so I'm pretty sure this will support the grinder reasonably well. The sketch was even worse than this. Oh my god, it would look like it was hand written and bloody awful, but this is my interpretation of what's up there. That represents this piece of plate, and I'll rip that away and show you how I've marked it out. Now, bit of backlighting now, and I'll move you out a little bit. Okay, I've got 4 hole positions, 2, 3 and 4, very simply using the bottom edge as the straight edge. I couldn't find my builder's square, my rafter square. I had 2 of them in the shop. I think that's another item that the purchaser of the shed nicked, but anyway, doesn't matter. And that there is a 150mm square that I've got to cut through the plate for the counterweight for the rise and fall of the column to go down through. So it'll be reasonably simple to get it up there. The grinder, or the later versions of the grinder, come with a full auto oiling system, and I haven't been able to see anything fitted, so I may have to either provide some sort of oiling or go and buy one and fit it, but it won't be too bad. This is going to be the top, so the legs will be underneath, and I'm thinking I'll put them sideways rather than lengthwise here, and I'll be stiffening it up so it'll be okay, but that'll give me a bigger aperture at the front here to get underneath for some shelves to put grinding wheels, etc., and the spare hubs. So it'll be 4 legs, 2 at either end, and it'll be bracing across the top and about 2/3 of the way down for shelving. I'll get this up on the radial drill to drill those holes, and people will see what a radial drill is useful for. When you've got 4 holes to do in a sheet like that, it's just so much easier to do. And then we'll start setting up to weld the legs on. Okay, bye for now, see you tomorrow. G'day guys, we're back at it again. It's now Friday. I'm drilling holes in what will be the surface of the machine stand for the little surface grinder to set up on, and being a wieldy workpiece, the radial drill just makes it so easy. In the past I have used a drill press and fought the bloody work, but this thing is just nice to use. Takes a few minutes to set up. It loves doing the job. Then let's get to it and stop talking. Being a lazy bloke, I don't speed it up for the pilot drills, because for me there's really no hurry. There we go. Very easy to position, and it loves its work. Now I'll swap the drill off camera because it's a greasy bloody thing and I don't like using my camera with dirty hands. Okay, sorry about the fan noise. The sun must be directly overhead. That's usually when it screams like this. Okay, swapped up to the 5/8 drill. Lovely, Bob's your uncle. It's a simple matter of just undoing the clamps, rotate around to the next hole. I could reach out to it without doing that, but up on the arm there's some yellow and black lines which sort of tell me it's dangerous to have the head out past that, so I try and keep it in. Back with the next operation soon. Okay guys, it's time for a quick deburr. Tip it over, deburr the other side, and then I'll show you what I'm using for the feet arrangement. It's amazing, the sun shines when I try and make a bit of video. Thank God for battery drills. They're a bit big for the 12mm bolts to go through, but I'm not relying on the dimensions given on the drawings in the operator's manual. It was just like a mud map. Now it doesn't really matter, I'll put penny washers on them anyway, or mud guard washers, whatever you want to call them. Now I'll try and get the orientation correct. This will be the front of the machine here. Not all the best, right? Like. Yeah, that's a bit better. And this is what I'll be using. And the reason is, it's free. Sitting outside in the garden for the last 8 months. I've got 4 pieces of that. And I don't know which way to put it. This would dictate being the most sensible, because I'd have the more material serve against the action of the table, but I've got enough room in here for a little shelf, and as shelf space is bloody scarce around here, I'll be using it. Keep the wheel hubs and maybe a balancing hub, the tools for taking the wheels off the tapers, and that'll just mean I'll have short bits of RHS between the legs to stiffen them up a little bit, and then short pieces down here, and it'll be about 200 wide here, so I'll have about a 200 by 500 shelf, which will be quite handy in there. But that's where I'll be welding these legs in. I'll clean all the paint off with a Scotch-Brite style stripper disc, and I'll be using gasless wire. I don't have a gas cylinder. I haven't done enough welding to warrant one with the rent that I now have to pay, but it's also very good for welding on the galvanised material. As long as you remember to draw rather than push, or pull rather than push, and leave enough electrical stick out, about 19 or 20mm, it usually operates quite good. Okay, I'll put my thinking cap back on and bring you back after all the prep work's done. Well, there are some things in life a bit more important than a stand for a small surface grinder. but they only take a few hours, twice for each brew, and man do I love this homebrew beer. It's as good as anything you buy out of the shop, and it's a bit of a distraction. If you can break up the workshop chores for something else that you like to do, it's all the better. Okay, maybe have to wait till next weekend for the rolling of the grinder stand. I still can't find a wire feed roller for the gasless fire, but that's the way life is. And I'm surprised at how many, in inverted commas, welding suppliers don't have it. I did a trip around locally this morning and the line of goods carried is bloody pathetic. Okay, back when there's something else to do. G'day again, guys. I'm back in the shed. Disaster coming with the cyclone, so I spent a couple of days tidying the yard up and trying to get ready for it, so I'm going to have to cut this episode a bit short. Also, I tried to, you love this, buy a 0.9 gasless roller for my MIG, and it is probably the most common roller ever used, a NADA roller, and all of the big red and green tool shops had mill stock. Most of them had no 0.9 rollers. They love selling you the machines and the wire, but then if you need spare parts or your consumables, well, that's just tough shit for you. So I'm still waiting for them to arrive. I finished up phoning a mate of mine and asking, and I'd forgotten that he goes under in the flood, so he won't be over interested in getting me the roller. I'll just have to have a little bit of patience. Okay, I did have a disaster in the shop. I was tidying up, and I'll pat myself on the back. I did a pretty good job, and it's amazing when you clean up you gain a lot more space. But this is the firebox closure door and grate assembly for my Sweet William, and I put it inside a plastic bucket and turned my back, and 5 minutes later the bucket died in the arse and threw it out onto the floor. It landed on the soft part up the top here, and it's all out of square and quite a bit. If I put a straight edge up the front, it's 5/8 of an inch or 16mm or so bent in, so I've got to denude it, straighten the place up and try and get that straight. But that'll be all I'm able to do to progress the day here until my welding spares arrive. Look after yourselves in this storm, it's not going to be much fun. I do have another item to put on this tape. I've cleaned up a shape of ice. I think it's off a Douglas 11-inch, so I'll get a bit of film of that, and anybody out there that needs one in excellent condition to put together with his shaper, I'm open for a good offer. Okay, I'll put that vise on, but for now, all the best. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, here's the unsuspecting shape of ice from the bloody end. Turns out to be in very good condition. Even the graduations on the base come up quite good. That's the original paint on it. It has one small mark which I'll show you in a sec, but it's in really good condition. The apprentices or tech school students didn't really give it a hard time. I'll zip you around the other side and show you what it's like there. Okay, here it is from the other side. The only few small marks I can see, a couple of little dings at the back of the fixed body there, and there's two very small drill marks where they tipped it up on the vertical to drill into an item, and just put a couple of about 6mm by 2 wide scrapes there. Nothing worth worrying about, but all the graduations are good. All the fastest are good. The handle is a different paint colour, so I would say it came off a different machine, probably a Hercus. But yeah, all around good vise, up for auction. Best bid wins. I suggested something in this condition, and what it is, it should list for at least $250. And I know I'm being greedy, but you find one cheaper than that. Okay, bye for now. I'll put this up today.